2023 is over. It is now 2024. In this video, I wanted to talk about, my plans for 2024 and some of my reading goals for 2024 and some of my reading stats from last year. Also, it is like a big thing now where people are doing their ins and outs of 2024. I see some people doing their bookish ins and outs of 2024, so I wanted to go over some of those as well. What I think I'm gonna start with is books that I'm excited to read. Oh, this is my first video of 2024. Welcome, by the way. So I'm gonna do books that are on my TBR that I'm excited to read this year. I'm not gonna read them in this order, but first up, the complete Harry Potter series. I have only read up to book number 4, and I really want to get to these 3. I think I'm gonna do a whole video on this, which is exciting. I've of course seen all the movies multiple times, but I haven't read all of the books. That is one goal, actually, of 2024, is to read the whole Harry Potter series. Another book, or shall I say another series, I'm excited to read is the Hunger Games series now. It was a trilogy, I guess, but now it's a series. So I read these 3, of course, in middle school. Loved them. Loved the movies, everything. This one I have not yet read, and I know that the movie just came out. So I want to read all of them and then watch the new movie. Maybe watch the old movies too. Maybe do a little vloggy vlog where I read the books and watch the movies. That might be fun. But yeah, this is another goal for 2024. Read this series. I'm excited. I really want to start getting into the whole Brandon Sanderson world, starting with Mistborn. I definitely want to get to these because people say that they are amazing. And then once you read this, you're not going to want to stop reading Brandon Sanderson. And I want to feel that. And I see him pop up on my TikTok all the time, where he's saying something and signing books. And I think he's so funny. So I just want to get into his books and see what his writing is all about. Then we of course have One Dark Window, this duology. It is the Shepherd King duology. Again, this exploded all over TikTok and YouTube and social media, and people swear by it. People love it. And I'm excited to see what the hype is all about. This is a romantasy series or a romantasy duology about a maiden must unleash the monster within to save her kingdom in this dark, lush, gothic fantasy debut. I think it's gonna be a fun one. I just recently got this one and I thought it was so cute. It's called Days at the Morisaki Bookshop. This is a translated work. It's translated by Eric Ozawa. A tale of families, love, new beginnings, and the comfort that can be found in books. I'm hoping it's going to be another cozy, nice vibes kind of book. Then we have the Red Rising saga. I have been wanting to start this for a while. I just got the first book. Again, people swear by these books. People love these books. So I want to see what the hype is about. Then we have Britney Spears' memoir, The Woman in Me. Okay, so one of my 2024 ends is memoirs. I don't read a lot of nonfiction in general, and I don't see myself doing that anytime soon. And I feel like memoirs is a good way to kind of get into that space. It's a good way to, a foot in the door of the nonfiction world. Because I'd love to be a nonfiction girly, but I think I'll be a memoir girly because this one I've just read the first chapter and I am hooked and I can't wait to finish reading it. I think I'm gonna be in my memoir era because I think that's fun. I also wanted to talk about books on my TBR that I'm intimidated by. Now, there's not that many, thankfully, and I don't even really know why I bought this. It is Anna Karenina by Leo Tolstoy. I wanted to read more classics last year, which I didn't do. It's huge and the print isn't that big. And I was like, well, I can read it in chunks, right? I can just read like a chapter a week or something and just really slowly get through it. But I just didn't do that. I need someone to convince me to read this, so do that, please. And then the last book that intimidates me is, of course, A Little Life by Hanya Yanagihara. People love this book. Again, people love it, love it, love it, but it is excruciatingly sad, I hear, and it is large. It is very large. I think Destiny Sidwell says it's the best book that she'll never recommend to someone because it is so sad and it talks about so many triggering topics. And that's what intimidates me about this, is that it's huge and it's sad. So you're gonna be sad for a long time. And I don't want that. So we'll see if I get to this year or not. Maybe, we'll see. Enough of my TBR, my reading goals. First off, my Goodreads goal that I set is 50. I set it for 50 books. My 2023 year-end books, I read 42 books total. Total 16,826 pages. My shortest book that I read was Killjoy. That's the prequel to the A Good Girl's Guide to Murder series, which is top-notch. One of my favorite reads of 2023, 5-star series, amazing. The longest book I read was Manacled at 876 pages, and that was a whirlwind all in itself. Of course, the most shelved book that I read last year was Twilight. Over 8 million people shelved that book. And my least shelved, which makes sense, was Bloody Waters by Carolina Garcia Aguilera. This one, only 1,700 people shelved, which makes sense. I got it at a thrift store and like a little mystery bundle thing, and I thought it was good. My average rating for 2023 was 3.1 stars, which is kind of low, honestly. Honestly, I kind of felt that way this year. I felt like, I think I only had a few 5-star reads. I barely had any, which is kind of sad. I didn't really have the best reading year. Maybe I'm just too picky, I don't know. I gave Fourth Wing 5 stars, A Good Girl's Guide to Murder 4 stars, which is, I would change that now to, why does it keep getting so dark? I would change that now to 5 stars. Looking back, loved that book. Legends and Lattes was 5 stars, so that's 3 5 stars. A Psalm for the Wild Built, that's 4 total 5-star reads. All year, out of 42. I only had 4 that were 5 stars. That's sad. We'll try to do better next year. And my goal was 50 books, but I only read 42, so well. Now for my bookish ins and outs. So my ins, no, let's start with outs. Let's do the negative stuff first, which reading books just because they're trendy, which I understand a lot of what I just talked about. I said I wanted to read it because it's trendy, but I need to stop. I need to stop doing that because a lot of the books that I gave 5-star, well, half of the books that I gave 5 stars, A Psalm for the Wild Built and Legends and Lattes, I gave 5 stars last year and they were not super trendy and I loved them. So I need to just pick out books that I like because I thought they sounded good. I think I'm relying too much on people's opinions and I need to stop doing that. I need to go into the bookstore, read the back of the book and be like, oh, that sounds interesting, and then read it. I don't know why I don't do that. Another out is cheesy romance / dark romance. Cheesy romance being like, I don't want to throw shade, but being like Ali Hazelwood books, Colleen Hoover, those are out for me. I just don't rate them very high and I don't enjoy my time while reading them. I cringe the whole time. Next is feeling like I'm not reading enough, especially after having my baby. I put a lot of pressure on myself to be like, or I don't put a lot of pressure on myself. I almost feel bad for myself in a sense where it's like, oh, I don't have as much time to read anymore. But I still read a lot compared to the average person. So I need to just stop feeling like that and feeling like I'm not reading enough. And my Goodreads goal being 50 isn't a bad thing. Even though some other people, you know, in this space have goals for over 100, 200, you know, some people read like 20 plus books a month, and that's just not realistic to me, even though I would love to do that. It's just not realistic for me. Another thing that's out is long TBR lists. This goes for my TBR shelf in general being long. I don't want it to be long. I want to read the books that I buy. It also goes for monthly TBR lists. You know, realistically, I read like 4 to 6 books a month. I no longer want to create TBR lists that are above like 5 books a month, because then I just feel bad when I don't read them. So now we have my bookish ends for the year. Like I said before, memoirs is a big one. Next one is DNF, DNF, DNF. I want to DNF more books. If I don't like it, don't read it. Reading should be a fun experience, and if you're not having fun, then don't read it, which I've already put into practice. The first book that I've read this year, I DNF'd because I wasn't having fun. It was boring. Nostalgic rereads. By the books that I'm excited to read this year, you can tell that I'm excited to do nostalgic rereads like The Hunger Games and the Harry Potter series. I'm feeling nostalgic this year. I want to go back to my bookish roots and read all of those books that I loved as a kid. Rereads in general is another in. It's kind of a trend now to talk about the fact that you read books and then you just forget about them, which is very true for me. I want to reread a lot of the books that I have on my shelf that I just kind of didn't retain, but I remember liking. My last bookish in for 2024 is fantasy and sci-fi. These two are in because I rate these books the highest. Romantasy, fantasy, sci-fi, whatever. I want to read much more of, and I think I do really enjoy reading those types of books, so I want to read more. I think that's it for this 2024 goals video. You know, this could all change next week. Who knows anymore? 2023 is over, 2024 is here, and this is a whole new year, so let's make the most of it and read good books. Okay, bye.